This villain nobody talks about. That's why I'm saying you're going to blow people's minds.
You like the Parasite? Is that who you like? No. Mr. That guy's the best, dude. That guy is the best. Let me tell you something. This is why we're friends.
Before we begin, let's thank our great sponsors. And if you want information on how to become one, you can go to jasonbailey.com. Much love to Inspect All Pest Services, because bugs, termites, and critters, they don't belong in your house. Inspect All handles pest control, termite protection, and wildlife removal. Here's the number one reason to use them. One company that does it right the first time. Bonus, they also take care of insulation, pressure washing, and gutter maintenance all across Atlanta. Less calls, less stress, better results. InspectAllServices.com. If life makes you Google lawyer, call the Aurora Law Firm, led by the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora. This Georgia-based team handles criminal defense, white-collar cases, DUI, expungements, and more. Nationwide. Number one reason to call the Mad Dog, they know the system and how to beat it. The Aurora Law Firm, because oops needs backup. TheAuroraLawFirm.com. Life gets heavy. Stress, work, relationships, all of it. That's where Ridgeline Counseling can help. Led by Dr. David Markwell and a team of 10 therapists, Ridgeline offers in-person sessions at 3 of his Georgia locations: East Cobb, Marietta, and McKaysville, or virtual visits wherever you're at and most comfortable with. Number one reason to choose Ridgeline, you don't have to do it alone. Ridgeline Counseling. Real help when you need it. MarkwellTherapy.com. Power goes out, not at your house, if you call Alternate Power Solutions. They're a family-owned Generac generator dealer, founded in 2012, handling sales, installation, service, and repair for home standby and portable generators across Georgia and Tennessee. Here's the number one reason to use them. You don't pay a dime until the job is done and you're 100% happy. Every customer gets an upgraded warranty, free monitoring with a service contract, flexible financing, and they actually keep generators and parts in stock, plus an A+ rating with the BBB. All you have to do is call 770-853-7571 or visit poweringgeorgia.com for a free home assessment. Use the discount code Bailey for $500 off your entire installation. Alternate Power Solutions, because losing power shouldn't mean losing your mind. Tired of struggling to get in and out of the tub? Meet MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. Beautiful, safe, and affordable bathing solutions that actually make your bathroom work for you. This family-owned local company focuses on installations that elevate comfort and accessibility. No high-pressure sales, no commission-only reps, just honest, hassle-free service across Metro Atlanta. Here's the number one reason to call MVP. They make bathing safe, easy, and enjoyable. Schedule your no-hassle appointment, 404-493-6888, or you can go online to nvpwalkins.com. Don't forget to mention the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, for $2,000 off MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower, because your bathroom should feel like a retreat, not a workout. Looking for the ultimate wellness boost? Meet Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, Central Florida's first and only ozone therapy spa. From ozone therapy to red light therapy, halo therapy, presso therapy, PEMF grounding mats, and even in-house ozone-infused products, Alive Ozone Therapy Spa's got everything to help you feel amazing, inside and out. Repair, rejuvenate, and restore your body. Here's the number one reason to try Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, because they combine cutting-edge therapies with natural holistic care. Go online to AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com. Use the discount code BS10 for 10% off your services and products. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, because feeling your best shouldn't be optional. Thanks to all of our sponsors. And with that being said, let's begin the show.
Hey, good looking. It's the Bailey Show podcast. JasonBailey.com. It's a website.
Yeah, it's a website. Oh, I lost my button. I found my button. All right, there it is. Episode 458. It's the Bailey Show podcast. It is a guy show women love to listen to with a side of laughs. When I do that, my Siri goes off.
Does it start laughing at you?
I just see that damn blue button. It's like, bitch, mind your own business. Stop listening to me all the time. It's all in the BPX. That is the Bailey Podcast Exchange. For those not in the know, it's a network. There's 3 different shows, 5 days a week, and it's all on one feed. The feed that you're getting us on now, hopefully it's Spotify because it's got the video aspect of it. And there's 2 subscription episodes. So if you don't see Tuesdays and Thursdays pop up, It's because they're for subscribers and subscribers only. They're a special class of people. They are a protected class in this country, as we call them, a protected class. So go to jasonbailey.com and subscribe. But Monday you have Honey, I Raised the Kids. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you have the Bailey Show podcast, the BS, and then Friday, Vinyl Road podcast with myself and Brad Stewart of the band Saliva. Also on there, the
Brad Stewart,
the rock star, the bassist. Why'd you do a podcast with him? That's so cool. It is actually cool. I enjoy it. He's a good and dear friend, and he's a good dude. Also,
a good human being.
On jasonbailey.com. The merch store is up there. Questions for the Mad Dog Manny Aurora. Our great sponsors. If you want to be a sponsor, ways to contact me on all of our social links, which is like real important that if you dig something from the show, you post on social, you comment on the social clips. I call them snaps that I put out every week. It's just, I mean, I know this is kind of businessy stuff and you like get into what you're going to talk about, man, but it's a show and I've got to give you all that information because this is a freebie episode. And if you're not a subscriber, you might not hear a lot of this stuff. So trying to rope you in, man, trying to give you a little bit and then get a lot, man.
Is it narcissistic that I like listening to our show?
No, I actually, I'm happy to hear you say that. It's weird for me when I was radio full time, I couldn't stand listening to me. Like I couldn't stand listening to the shows. And, you know, the show that I had in Atlanta, I mean, when it was on, it was on. We had something really special. I would argue that it was must listen radio. I mean, our fan base grew and we were really good. And the content that we gave out 4 hours a day, 5 days a week was really good. It was very creative, very well thought out. Not saying that everyone participated in that process, but I can tell you that I did a lot, but I still didn't like when we did best ofs and stuff. I didn't like listening to me because I'm a perfectionist and I would hear, oh man, I could have said this. I shouldn't have said this. Why didn't I ask that person? You know, and then I start picking myself apart.
Why do I always call it Minneapolis?
Why do I always call it Minneapolis? So it's like those little things. But what's funny about it, it's easier for me to listen to the podcast than it is any of my radio shows. And I don't know why. I know I have a different style in the podcast world, totally different style. I know I'm a lot more relaxed, and that took a while to learn, and I'm still learning it in this podcast world. I know I can be more opinionated, not have to. I mean, when you're a radio DJ, with the exception of a handful of personalities in the country, you have to think about everything that you're going to say because you have all these different variables. One, you have management, right? Two, you most likely have a room and how that room will be affected by what you say. Sponsors. Yeah, right. 3 sponsors. And for the audience, you know, I mean, radio people are under this impression that they have this huge audience when they don't. I mean, on any given minute, you know, a radio show could have 400 listeners, you know, 500 listeners or something like that. I mean, they think that they have 500,000 listeners. They don't. And that's what they tell advertisers. But anyway, not the point. So you're constantly thinking, you know, and as a host, my job is to pull the best out of the room. So if it's just a me show, you know, then I'm just going to go blah, 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 blah. But my job is to make everybody around me rock stars. So the audience doesn't realize that about a good host. A good host doesn't have to be the guy in charge and the pounding of the chest and stuff. A good host has to make the people around him superstars. You know, so when you get an audience for a radio show and they're like, oh, dude, I like that guy so much better. He's so much better than the host. You know, thinking that the host is supposed to be this something or another. That's a good host. A host made that person a star. And that's what the host's job is to do, because then they can relinquish that mic one capability and then play off of that person. I mean, it's a strategical art of conversation, communication, inner room workings, management type of deal. It's not easy. I can tell you that.
I still haven't figured out that 5 things crap you always talk about, though.
The filing of 5 things?
I still haven't worked it out.
I didn't invent
I
it.
remember you saying it. It's just that's the one thing. Offline, he coaches me. People, it just there's behind the scenes of this magic, and that's one thing that we've talked about. And I still don't. I don't know what the hell you're talking about half the time.
So it's the first thing you learn in improv. It's Improv 101, which is a class. And
Well, yeah, I never took that one.
They teach you the filing of 5 things, which is to train your brain to think quickly. And the experiment that I did was, or the class did, was they had you stand up in front of the room and they said, without saying anything, show that you're at the beach. You have 60 seconds and go. And so, you know, if you've never done it before, even if you are quick-witted, you're thinking this and this, that. But if you can train your brain to catch on to the buzzword of the content, beach, and then file 5 things
About the beach.
then your brain automatically goes, okay, sand in my face, volleyball, sandcastle, surfing, towel, suntan lotion, you know, all these different things, you know, and you're going, okay, well, that I can nail this in 20 seconds. I don't need 60 seconds because I've already trained my brain to think that way. Then if you take it into the art of conversation, and this goes for anybody, not just people in the entertainment business, but if, you know, let's say you're not great at conversation, maybe you're shy, or you don't think that you have something to add, or you ramble, whatever the case may be, and you want to stay on point, on topic, and you want to stay informative and interesting, listen to what the person says, and then find a buzzword within what they're talking about, the noun of the sentence, more or less. And then you file 5 things about that. So if they're telling you about their kid, Sarah is doing so well in school. She got on the honor roll this year. Okay. So now you can pick Sarah, you can pick school, you can pick honor roll. You want to probably go with the biggest of them all, which would be Sarah. Be like, how old is Sarah? And then just go who, what, when, where, and why. You know, how old's Sarah now? She's going to be 22 in April. Wow. God, you must be really proud. Is that your alma mater? Okay. So now you're talking, you know, school. So you have these 5 things that you can ask questions about, because the best talkers are better listeners. You know, I was listening to, it infuriates me. Glad I remembered this. I was going to post about it and I decided not to. So I'll say it on this. It infuriates me. Look, let me give a disclaimer. I'm not saying I'm the best. Okay. I'm pretty good at interviewing people, right? And our buddy, we will have a guest here momentarily if all goes as planned. But when I see people on national television, Fox News, CNN News, you know, whatever news, and they're just so bad at interviewing their guest, it drives me insane. The first thing I can't stand is the smacking of the lips. If you ever see someone on television, even on the radio, again, guilty of it every once in a while, and it's for the reason I'm about to tell you, is you're thinking. It's a crutch. You don't have anything to say. You're trying to think of the next thing.
It's another or and.
It's exactly that, yeah. Ben. It's an or an and.
Hello.
People on the news that do this, tap their papers, tap their pens, it's a crutch. Like a comedian with a drink on stage, it's a crutch. Drives me absolutely insane. And you can feel it. You can see it, especially on local news, where they're trying to do that improv transition. No teleprompter. You guys are raw dogging for 4 seconds. Can you handle it? No, they can't. Anyway, I'm listening to Fox News. And I know some of you are like, well, that's your first problem. But so I was listening to Fox News on the car, and the morning Foxy people, whatever their morning show is, the guy, again, I don't know who it is. So I'm listening to it and he never says his name. And he interviews the mayor of, I guess it would be Minneapolis, right? Fry. You don't like the way I say Minneapolis?
That's not the word.
Minneapolis.
Nope.
What is it then?
Minneapolis.
It's not Minneapolis?
No, you're adding a syllable. It's Minneapolis.
Huh. You know what?
That's why I always make fun of you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, from now on, I hereby declare.
A little small Annapolis.
The smaller version of Annapolis is Minneapolis. And nobody can take that from me. I'm changing it now. I hereby declare.
I got your back, Bailey.
Minneapolis. Fry, right? That's his name, Fry.
Yeah, he uses the F word.
Yeah, that's the guy that the fake tough guy. We talked about him. He's a phony baloney, right? He's just like any other politicians. He's a scrawny little wimpy guy, gets on TV, drops the F-bomb. Ice, I got a message for you, Ice. It didn't even sound tough the way he delivered it. It was so theater and so poorly done. He knew what he would get from it. He would now become a household name because he dropped the F-bomb on television, which I just think is so. I don't like it when anybody does it, on public television. I don't like it because now you bring in kids that might see it or why. I just don't. I know. I just don't like it. He goes on Fox News, to his credit, knowing that that's enemy territory. And this guy interviewing him, all he wants to do is get the soundbite. You can tell. He went like these journalists, quote unquote. It starts with you. It's almost because of you that you have so much power and you're supposed to have some ethics. Like you have that kind of platform. What if you came across, now I understand he's a politician and he's going to manipulate and he's going to do his politician things. But what if you came across and, let him give his point of view and then ask him questions, and then they got to a point where they're just talking over each other. The guy would triple barrel his questions. Double barreling is bad enough. And what that means is when you're interviewing someone, you ask a question on a question and they're long. Like TV,
if that's the case, then what about this aspect of the,
Yeah. Like in TV, the rule is it's supposed to be real short.
Yeah.
In radio, you can go a little bit longer because you have to quote unquote paint that picture. I've always liked Jim Rome is really good at his interviews. I love those short, quick jab questions that Jim Rome does. I'm such a fan, but he's double barreling, triple barreling. So if you go on television and let's play the clip. Okay. Do you think that those were the best words to use? And if you were to go back, what words would you use differently? And since then, has anyone come up to you and you just asked the man 3 questions and
what was the question again?
Exactly. He's not going to answer that and or remember that. The other pet peeve of mine that I have with these television people is they'll ask a question to a politician, especially a politician. Sports guys, sports people are like this too, though, but definitely politicians, and they dance around it because they don't want to answer it, right? And he asked them a really important, it was a long-winded question, but he asked them a really important question. I guess it wasn't that important, but I remember it was important. And he never answered it. And he jumped around from it, and then he moved on. So that shows you if the interviewer moves on from the question that never got answered, he's not or she's not paying attention at all.
Or they're a chicken.
Yeah, or they're a chicken and
they're scared of whoever they're interviewing.
Or, in their case, somebody might be in their ear and say, move on. I have no idea. It drove me absolutely bonkers, insane. And when I hear these types of things, going back to the filing of 5 things, I'm filing 5 things. So as Fry is talking, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I'm just trained like that. And I'm going, this is what I would ask. This is what I would ask. This is what, and I must have come up with probably about 10 to 12 different questions, good questions in my head that never were asked because he wanted to argue and talk the journalist talked almost more than Fry, the guy on television. Could not believe it. That's just narcissism, and again, both of you people are in front of the camera for the audience. That's what you're there for. The power of television and radio, podcasting, whatever the case may be, you can change things. You can tone the anger down. You can do something. It drives me insane.
Imagine just for a moment,
all the people,
if the media would call our President Trump instead of just calling him Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Think of what that would do subliminally to lay an idea of respect for the office. You
Yeah.
don't have to respect the guy, but he holds this office, so you give it some reverence. People don't do that, and I think the news doesn't help with that narrative because they don't call him President Trump. They just call him Trump. Trump is doing this, and Trump is doing that. Have some respect for the office, at least, people.
So the play devil's advocate is, I hate the guy. Why would I call? He's not my president, blah, 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 blah. So
He is the president.
That's when you get into somebody's got to take a step back. Like, but somebody, you've got to understand facts. He is the president. Okay. Like it or not, he's there. He has, like, I am a fan of honor in the office. Like I honored who, I don't care what party you're in. If you win, you win. It's like somebody wins the Super Bowl and you're like, not my Super Bowl team. Well, no, you might not like it, but that's who won. I mean, those are just facts. You don't, there's a difference between not liking something and not understanding what is fact, like what's on paper,
and you can help with this learned behavior. You can literally make a difference in how we get along just by how you deliver the news.
Right. And people, everyday people can help out with this as well. That's a great example of something little like that, just by going, let's say you haven't done it before, then you start doing it and your friend goes, what's wrong with you? And be like, I still honor the office because the next guy could be your guy and you don't want somebody doing that to your guy. So maybe now you're talking to somebody that has an opposite opinion of you, but just learned something from you. And now you're the alpha because you're setting an example. And that's what we're seeing so much now is nobody wants to set an example. I mean, we are seeing the most childish behavior in this country right now from so many people of just like nanny boo boo screaming in cameras, yelling. And it's amazing what is going on. Absolutely amazing. It's not a good look. And if you're seeing what's happening in the UK, like Paris and stuff like this, and you think that it can't happen here, look at what's happening. It's happening here. I mean, it's snowballing. The only difference, I think, or the big difference that we have over the UK is we've got the South. The South has never evolved from the Civil War.
You know what we got in the South, Bailey?
We have the right to carry.
We got guns.
The South will be the saving grace to this country when it gets too bad. Going back to, are we going to turn into what's happening in like the UK and Paris and stuff like that? The rest of the country might, but I can tell you from probably about North Carolina down, I don't think that's going to happen.
Embrace a redneck, people. That's going to be a movement. You're going to like it.
Find your redneck friends and be really close with them real fast. They're going to save your ass someday.
Bailey had some forethought. We made friends a while ago for this moment.
Hey, look, I've lived in the South since I was 11, so I get to claim it, man. We don't have to argue if Florida's the South. And
Dude, we're getting you some camo to make this official.
I've got so much camo in my closet. Dude.
Do you have real camo or do you have like Under Armour camo?
I don't have hunting camo. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
I've got like hiking camo and stuff like that.
That's cute.
But I'm not
some bibs.
I'm not a hunter.
And Carhartt.
I'm not a hunter. I don't have any Carhartt stuff, but when I lived in Georgia, man, I mean, we were, we had a cabin. We were up there all the time. We were doing all that kind of stuff. So we have all that, again, I agree. Georgia's the South. Florida's not necessarily the South, but we get to claim we're the South. I mean,
Florida is the South, but it's not Southern.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's a difference of people, the Georgia South that's Southern hospitality. There's no doubt about it.
Arkansas, we eat chocolate gravy. We're South, baby.
That's, it's just a different
and deer.
It just hits a little bit different, man. I got to tell you, I miss it. I do. I miss my Georgia people and, everyday talks and all that kind of stuff. They're just it's a different type of breed, man. And you can't find them, I think, anywhere else in the country. I mean, not that I dislike Floridians. It's just, I was reminded why I moved when I moved back. I can say that there's just Floridians come across as a little more. There's flakiness everywhere, but Florida's really cornered the market on it. Really cornered the market on it. We're looked at as we're not rednecks. We're like hillbilly crackers. Floridians.
Well, there's Florida man. That's a whole different breed of something.
Yeah, the Florida man is a different breed. It's kind of like West Virginia hillbilly.
Yeah.
Georgia redneck.
Florida man's got a stronger mullet and more expensive overalls.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Florida pulls off the mullet. Like it's the dirty mullet. The Georgia mullet is by chance, not by choice. Right.
I was thinking about growing one just back here. Have a skullet.
A skullet.
All bald here and just nothing but perm going on back here.
Can you grow that or no?
I don't know. I'm scared to try.
God, please let me get you some chia dust. I would die to have you have a skullet. Oh my, that's so funny.
Are you familiar with Dano's, the seasoning?
Yes.
All right. So the guy, Dan, that started the thing, he always wears a hat.
Mm-hmm.
And when he doesn't, you learn why.
Skullet?
Dude, he is so bald. He's all bald with all long hair going on back here.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, it's hardcore, yeah.
You know, I've never heard that term. That is so funny. Skullet? I've never.
Oh, dude, we used to have terms for all the different brands of mullets. So the Mexicans,
yeah,
it's mulletino.
Mulletino.
Yeah. You got the Camaro cut, which I don't even have to tell you what that is. You know what that is just from the name.
Yeah, sure.
Middle part.
Yeah.
Feathered. You got the femullet,
For lesbians.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So there's a whole book of mullet terms and what they look like.
There was a mullet contest recently in Philadelphia, I think. Yeah, Philadelphia. And it was a nice little story. Like I tried to, for my own sanity, in Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. It's at a farm show. Shocker. So yeah, Philadelphia. But yeah, you know what I mean. So the contest celebrating the short in the front, long in the back. Once the province of Canadian hockey players and hair metal bands attracted about 150 competitors and more than 1,000 spectators for the day's main MANE attraction. It's good.
Yeah.
10-year-old Drew Fleshnut.
Fleshnut?
Oh, I think I added an N. Fleshnut.
I like yours better.
Yes, so do I. Of Dallas, Pennsylvania, who wore a red and black shirt, paying homage to Joe Dirt, carried Joe's trademark mop. So they were evaluated for the style of their cut, any props or accessories, their presentation, overall sense of commitment, says a judge. Anyway, so like that's a fun story, like you get to, I try to get some sanity by finding fun stories throughout the week just to read for myself. But unfortunately, my brain and the way it ticks and the way it moves, I'm going, nobody's complaining, right? There's no complaints about this is racist or something is this, there's no complaints. That's a good thing. But could you pull that type of contest off with another style haircut and get away with it? Then does it start to become political?
I don't know. I feel like you could have like an 8 is enough contest where you got the rock and bowl cut. See who's got the best one. Remember those in the 80s?
Yeah. Oh, I had one.
The 8 is enough one. Yeah. I think we could do an 8 is enough off.
So these are all kind of white people haircuts. Could you do like best weave, best fro?
Called Coming to America.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Soul Glow 500.
So good. Yeah. I was like, if you had a contest of the best weave or the best, I don't know, what is it called? What does Will Smith's wife have? Alopecia?
Alopecia, yeah.
Alopecia. Best alopecia head contest. No, not Landon.
It's just bald. I win.
Yeah, but you got to have the alopecia in order to participate. So you got to show a card, your alopecia card. I don't even know what it is. I just know you go bald. It's like a black.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Anyway.
Yeah, we had two players from Arkansas that each had alopecia. One now plays for Boston, and one plays for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, really?
I had a hard time telling them apart because they were both 6'8".
That's a big person.
Defensive end, 6'8", 280. Landon Jackson plays for the Bills, and then Jordan Walsh plays for the Celtics.
And they both have alopecia, huh?
And they were there at the same time. It was very hard to tell the difference.
Do you know what it is? Like, how do you get it? It's just for black people, right?
I think it's something genetic. I don't want to say it's akin to, but in the same vein as like sickle cell, I think it's something genetic with, yeah.
Don't worry, we white people get stuff too.
Look at Powder. He had something.
Every people get something. So relax out there. That's a shame, that one of these days we're going to find out the easy trick of the trade and cure all these little things that people get. Somebody was telling me the other day, it was a new patient of ours. And he just bust out with this conspiracy story. And I couldn't find it anywhere in the old interweb. Maybe he gave me the wrong name, but supposedly there was a doctor back in the day that, he was telling me that the FDA, owns the trademark for the word cure. Again, I don't know if this is true or not. And I was like, that's interesting. He goes, yeah, because if you can actually cure something, you can't say it because they own the trademark, right? It was like this whole conspiracy. Maybe it wasn't the FDA. Maybe it was something else, but maybe it was WHO or something like that. But it was very interesting. And I just haven't found time to dig into it or not. Like, if this is true, which I would believe. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anything. Like, one of the biggest, you think the Somali scam in Minnesota, Minneapolis is bad? The insurance scam that we are all scammed on and have been programmed to accept on a yearly basis is the biggest scam that continuously happens to us. Somebody explained to me why my insurance, and I go to the marketplace, why my insurance last year, I was paying $300, $400, whatever it was. And this year it's $1,000 on top more for the same insurance. That's nuts. So now I have to get a different insurance. Thank God it's got, all the same doctors are involved in these things and all that stuff. But anyway, he was telling me that this doctor years ago had discovered a cure for cancer. Okay. Which, when you get into the variables of that, it's a bigger conversation because there's different types of cancers. Right?
You just pulled a Mr. Garrison.
What doing what?
Okay.
All these different variables of the cancer.
Gotcha, bad.
Okay, gotcha. So there's different types of cancers. So you would, I don't know if there's a one pill fits all type of deal, but anyway, let's just say this guy did cure cancer, and he went and whatever he had, he was marketing it, he was promoting it. And again, this was years and years ago, probably pre-internet, I think. And he says, I've got a cure for this type of cancer. And they came after him and they sued him or something like that. And then they shut him up. And then he died. And then years later, the big pharma and whatnot had come out and said, hey, we've got a cure for this type of cancer. And it was exactly what he had prior. So I don't know the whole story.
It wouldn't surprise me if he died of cancer as proof that he didn't have the cure for that.
Right. Exactly.
But they did later.
Yeah.
By the way, white people can get alopecia, but higher rates of alopecia are among Asian, Black, and Hispanic individuals.
Gotcha. So
now we can rest that. And
you were doing research on alopecia and not the cure cancer doctor?
Well, I had that waiting. I had that bullet in the chamber.
There's our guest. Let's bring our guest. This is one of my most favorite people in the entire world of America. I've known him for quite some time. Very excited. And he He doesn't do a lot of small podcasts like mine, but he does it because we're buddies. He's one of the coolest, nicest, smartest human beings I know. Let's welcome to the BS podcast. It is my friend, Mr. Brad Meltzer. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, brother. Good to see you.
Busy,
Good looking haircut there.
Are you
yeah,
busy?
I was gonna say I just need the goat and the thing.
The goat and the thing. So you're busy. You got the new book, The Viper, out, and you're doing book tours, and now you're crazy world right now, huh?
We are in the midst of it. I got 3 more cities. I got St. Louis right now tonight. I got Toledo, Cleveland tomorrow, and then Toledo tomorrow and Cleveland on Friday.
Okay.
And then I'm done. So yeah, we have done 12 cities in 11 days. It's ridiculous. It's just like a rock and roll tour with no sex, no groupies, no bus, no drugs, no money. I mean, but otherwise it's totally the same, 100%.
Well, I can tell you this, my friend, myself, my wife, and my daughter. I've been watching, social media, and I've seen the crowds that you're getting at these book tours. And unfortunately, we could not make any of them. But me and my family celebrated your new book, The Viper, with cake. I'd like to show you the picture.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, you did, man. That is badass. I love that. I love you for that, Jay. That is so. Do you know? So just so everyone knows, so you're wearing this great Viper tattoo. If you join our mailing list, we've mailed out to people who join our list when they go to the website and hit the little button is secret decoder rings. We've done dials that crack codes like you get from the cereal boxes. We've done playing cards. This time we did Viper tattoos. And if you wore the Viper tattoo, you come to the book sign, you can cut the line. And so then I was like, well, it's just a matter of time until someone tries the Viper tramp stamp. And sure enough, they did. 2 people showed up at the same event in Virginia. And then one guy, he said it to me and I'm like, I'll report back. He said, if I get it permanently, can I forever cut the line?
Oh, that's good.
And I said, 100%.
Yeah.
You get the Viper permanently. You get a full cut the line pass for as long as I'm doing book signings. So our readers, they're the greatest. I mean, they've been so supportive of the book. It's crazy.
The story, and I want you to share it, then we'll talk about the book. And I've got a couple of things that I want to talk to you about. But the Viper, you were in Dallas, and you tell a story on your social media. Now, for those that aren't familiar with Brad, I mean, let's go back to Decoded, on History Channel and Lost History and the TV stuff he did. But he's the #1 selling author, New York Times bestselling author. And he's written so many books, great children's books. He's a humanitarian. I mean, just a great person. But you go back to the early days, decades ago, first book signing in Dallas, and you were just at that same bookstore for the Viper, and you tell this story. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this was crazy. So I go, it's, when you do your first event, I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn originally. So of course my New York event is filled with relatives. Second event's in Florida, filled with relatives. I go to Dallas. It's the first city where I don't know anybody. Very first book, I'm 27 years old. There's maybe 10 people there, which I'm thrilled at. I'm like, wow, we got 10 people in a place I don't know anybody. The last 5 people in line are around my age. They're in their late 20s. And, I could tell that they're waiting and lingering because they want to talk. And so, of course, I want to talk to them. So we're talking. And they just seem like nice people. And I'm like, I ask them, I'm like, where you coming from? And they're like, oh, we just drove over 4 hours from Oklahoma to come see you. I'm like, you drove 4 hours to see an author that nobody knows and no one's ever heard of. And they just seem so nice. I said, you know what? I said, where are you staying the night? And they're like, oh, we have no money. We're going to drive back. I said, you guys are nice people. I'm taking you to dinner. Let's go to dinner. So we walking out of the store. We're at this Barnes & Noble. And I can see that one of the staffers from the publisher is actually by the door. I'm like, what are you even doing here? I didn't see her the whole time. And she says, oh, they wanted me to check in on you. They were spying on me to see if I screwed up a signing where there was no one that I knew. They see if, I messed it up. And she says, what are you doing? I said, I'm taking these readers here to dinner. And she's like, you can't do that. They're going to murder you. And I'm like, they're not going to murder me. I'm going to be fine. They're nice. And she's like, oh, man. She's like, Brad, now I got to go to dinner with you to make sure you don't get murdered. I'm like, fine. So she comes to dinner. Right. She's mad about that to protect my life. And so we go to dinner, and when the check comes, I try to pick up the check. She pulls out of my hand. You know, we're fighting over the check. Fast forward 25 years later, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. This guy comes in line, middle-aged guy, and he says, you know, Brad, I've been supporting you for 25 years reading your books. I'm like, oh, that's really nice. I appreciate it. He goes, you want to know why? I go, why? And he says, because 25 years ago, you bought me dinner in Dallas and you fought over the check. I always loved how you fought over the check. And I just love when life is like a boomerang, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you throw it out there, boom, and then it's just like boom, 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 boom. And it comes back 25 years later. And sometimes it's like love you put out there like that. Sometimes you put a good deed out there, and sometimes it's in the form of a book. And you put it out there and it comes back. And that's, I was saying, our readers are the greatest, best people in the whole universe. And that was proof of it.
Did you pick up the tab? Because you never told it whether it was you or the publicist.
Oh, no, I tried to pick it up. No, he actually said to me, he said, I supported you because you were fighting for the tab. She wouldn't let me pay for it. I mean, she was so insistent. She's like, no, the publisher has to pay for everything. And I was like, this is BS. I want to do this. But he said, because you fought. And I was like, if I didn't fight, would you not support me all these years? You know, like,
now I'm questioning the size of this woman, because first off, she's going to protect you from killers. From
right.
Oklahoma.
I mean, you'd think
second, she overpowers you in the restaurant.
Now that the funny part was when I think back about her, she is kind of badass, but they definitely sent. I now rethinking all of her. She clearly has martial arts skills we know nothing about. That's the only thing I can really deduce from that.
She going to be your next superhero novel book?
Listen, it could be. You never know.
So the Viper is the third in a series of 3, correct?
Yeah, but you don't need to read any of them. You can start with the Viper, and let me dive in. And it'll make it more obvious. So let me just tell you. So here's how the book opens. A man walks into a funeral home carrying his favorite blue suit. He's got a terminal disease, and this is the suit that he wants to get buried in. And here's the thing: if you go to your local bank and you open up a safety deposit box, then paperwork gets filed, which means the government could eventually track it. Same thing if you go to the UPS store and you open up a PO box, government can track that too. But if you secretly sew something into the lining of your suit, and then you hand that suit over to your local mortician, you have the ultimate untraceable hiding spot. So the man goes back to his hotel room. There's a guy with a gun waiting. He says, where is it? The guy says, I don't know what you're talking about. Shoots him dead. That suit's still in the funeral home. You won't believe what's hidden inside it or who's about to find it. And that's chapter 1 of The Viper.
Oh my
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And listen, and as it says on the cover, it says this is the perfect place to meet Zig Noel. You don't have to read any other book. It's just it's a great ass mystery with killer characters and family secrets and all the fun stuff. And I love doing the research for it.
Is there, with all you've written, what, 14? Is this your 14th?
14 thrillers, yeah.
Yeah, 14th. Okay. And that's not including the children's books.
No, if you count those, I get up into like the 60s. It's crazy. I mean, kids' books are shorter, but yeah, it's a lot.
Do you have Easter eggs, like a running theme of one day?
Come on, man. What kind of operation? I ran a show that was called Decoded. In fact, it wasn't even called Decoded. It was called Brad Meltzer's Decoded.
Yeah.
That's the best title of all time. Brad Meltzer's Decoded. I said to my wife the other day, honey, what are we having for Brad Meltzer's dinner tonight? Because yesterday we had Brad Meltzer's chicken, and tonight I like to have Brad Meltzer's pasta. And she was like, you go sleep on Brad Meltzer's couch.
So one day we're going to find out what Brad Meltzer's secrets are in the.
I hide so my very first book I ever wrote, I hid in the Supreme Court justices. Their names were all the names of characters in my favorite comic book, Watchmen. And I've been hiding comic book references in my books for years that no one sees. But that's how DC Comics originally hired me to do comic books, is they said they finally caught on what I was doing. And all I was doing was looking for nerds. Like if you came to me and you caught, and I wasn't doing like Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne. I was like doing deep, deep cuts. Mm-hmm. And DC was like, you want to write some comics for us? I'm like, I've been waiting my whole life for you to ask me that, baby. What do you think I'm doing here? And so, I even put in one of my books, I put a secret code that if you figured out the code and where to go, there was something hidden at this certain spot, and you were rewarded if you found it. And only one person, it took them years, but one person cracked the code, found it, contacted me because they knew how to from the thing, and was so sweet and loved the chase so much, figuring out how I hid it in the book, that they put it back. So it should still be there. And I'm still waiting for the second person to crack it.
I feel like there was an episode of Castle where they did this, and the author got killed off, and they had a hidden treasure. And
well, I like how immediately it just comes with my death. I appreciate that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They had to color it up a little bit.
So is the final chapter going to be Brad Meltzer's mindfuck, and we're going to find out exactly what you're doing. I just feel. Have you watched The Following with Kevin Bacon?
No, I never saw it.
Okay, you should. Obviously with your
crazy ass brain is what you're looking for.
Well, no, it's all FBI stuff and all the information that you know and whatnot. Now, as far as it's a little infuriating because it makes them look really silly a lot. But it's about a call. It's based off of the serial killer, and Joe Carroll, and he's a writer. He wants to be a writer. He wants to be an author. He's a teacher. And for some reason, no offense, every time I watch the show, I'm thinking of you. And but then he has this following, and then he starts a cult, and then they find out that he's just like one of many under another guy, and so on and so forth and so forth. But
well, don't ruin. I want to see it now. It sounds good.
Yeah, it's real good. But listening to like the literature and how you guys write and your mind works and stuff. And I was watching the show with my wife. That's our story program right now. And I was telling her that you were coming on the show. And I was like, for some reason, I got to ask Brad. I go, I bet you he hides Easter eggs in all of his books.
I hide former characters. You can find like things that happen to one character. I'll hide it in the book. And I always put, you'll see there, but people find them. It's amazing. Like I'll put something that's so obscure and someone will be like, is this? And I'm like, you got it. Because to me, that's the fun of it, right? The fun is that and the research, right? Like I've taken, and listen, I've talked a long time, brother, right? Like I've taken my readers into the tunnels below the White House, the secret, hidden labyrinth down there, the labyrinth below the U.S. Capitol. I've gone in the ones below Disney World, and which was hard because Mickey and Donald and Goofy are nice. But if you cross them, they will make your family disappear in the middle of the night. Like you do not mess around with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you in the Viper, I really became obsessed with witness protection. I was like, I want to know what goes on in witness protection. And so I started, and when you think of witness protection, what do you think of, Jay, right? You think of like mobsters. You think of like the end of Goodfellas or Tony
My
Soprano.
Blue Heaven.
Right. My Blue Heaven, a good one, actually. And that's what the witness protection was created for. Take down the mob, get mobsters to testify against other mobsters. So you take them down. And it worked. It actually worked. But it's not like crime stopped. Other different groups started taking its place. So after mobsters became the biggest group in witness protection, it was gang members became big because gangs started thriving. And when 9/11 happened, we started chasing terrorists. So terrorists became the biggest group in witness protection. You want to know one of the biggest groups in witness protection right now? It's accountants. Accountants, because now data is king, right? Information's king.
Yeah.
And I love the fact you will never look at witness protection the same way again once you read The Viper, when you see what's inside.
Wow. So interesting. I have a theory on this abduction of Maduro and his wife in Venezuela.
Yeah.
First off, and I don't know why more people aren't pointing this out, they took his wife. When's the last time the military has raided and not killed them, and 2, not handed them over, 3, taken their significant other? That's crazy.
Great. Yeah. And then what's your theory?
Well, the drugs are not the primary at all. I mean, this is a way bigger picture. You
think it's just because all the billions of dollars in oil? You think it might be about that and not about the drugs?
Yes, but I don't think it's about making money. I think it's about keeping the oil, because if we are on the cusp,
what's the line?
Keeping control of the oil.
Follow the money, right? That's the line from all the president's men, from Woodward and Bernstein taking down Nixon. The great irony is, of course, no one ever said follow the money. That was a screenwriter created that, but it doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah, but to take the wife, like, that should be a conversation.
That's an interesting one. That is, it's funny. Until you said it, I didn't even think about it. It's almost like a favor, right? Or unless they don't get along, in which case it's a punishment. But it's like they're keeping the family together. It's a crazy idea.
Yeah, it's like, well, how do we get this guy to shut up?
Right. He hates his wife. Bring the wife. Right. That's the new waterboarding is you bring someone's wife.
It's like, this is the worst torture. You take my money, take my world, take my power. Just don't leave me with this woman. That's funny. Tell me more about the post that you made just recently about the new project, Superman and Spider-Man. And I'm going to blow
this is crazy. So this is the second hardest secret I've had to keep for the past 6 months. And is Marvel asked me to do every maybe 10, 20 years, Marvel and DC team up, right? So DC is Superman, Batman, Marvel, of course, is like Spider-Man and Captain America and Iron Man and all the movies, And every whatever decades or decades, they do a team up where Superman and Spider-Man or whatever, Batman and they've done an Incredible Hulk. They did a team up years ago. And they called me up and they were like, we have a project for you. I'm like, listen, I'm really busy. I'm working on the Viper. I got the tour. I got everything going. And they're like, would you like to write Superman and Spider-Man? And I'm just like, drop everything. I am writing Superman and Spider-Man like that. I mean, imagine getting that phone call. So of course I couldn't say no. And it was truly the dream project where, free reign, do what you want, pick who you want, make them fight, make them love, make them hate, do whatever there was no reins. And I got to write and they announced it today. You saw it on my Instagram. It's where we, got to put it out there with the cover. And I literally, all of my nerd friends, I wasn't allowed to tell, of course I told a couple, but they were like, my phone, I could be whatever on the bestseller list. I could not, be on Good Morning America this week. I could be whatever, be the president of the United States. And I will not get more text than I got today when they announced that I was writing Superman and Spider-Man together. Like every nerd I knew from younger to like now, like whoever I went to the comic store with when I was a kid to now was like, dude. And they all wrote this and no one wrote anything that was a word. It was like, dude, whoa, dude, whoa. It was great.
Speechless.
It's awesome.
Can I ask a favor?
Yes.
And this favor is going to benefit you, Brad,
Great,
in a million ways. Yes, because you're going to blow the nerds' minds when you add this character to Superman, Spider-Man. I don't want to say versus because you don't know if they're going to be versus.
I'm not saying.
Yeah. And I will let you guess. It is the best villain Superman has ever faced that has beat him up probably the worst out of any other person he's ever faced.
I mean, so you're the Doomsday fan?
Not Doomsday.
Okay, you said beat him up, so I was like, the guy who kills him, is that who you think it is?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about OG Superman stuff, the Zods of the world and stuff like that.
Right. So, and you understand that whoever you say is just who you're the fan of, right? Like most people will say Lex Luthor has the most sheer number of fights. Bizarro is the most fun, but it's campier in the 60s and it's Silver Age. Brainiac, and it depends which one you pick. Like, so you tell me who it is.
But this villain, nobody talks about. That's why I'm saying you're going to blow people's minds.
You like the Parasite? Is that who you like? No. That guy's the best, dude. That guy is the best. Let me tell you something. This is why we're friends. Let me tell you right now.
Pepper Martin, by the way.
I go. Where were we? It was last week, the day before the tour. I take my wife. We're in upstate New York to this diner. And it's like this dumpy old diner that looks like we time traveled back to, and we're trying to figure out the year. And my son says, this looks like we're back in the 80s. And my wife is like, this looks like we're back in the 60s. And I said, this looks like we're about to get beat up as Clark Kent. That was literally my line. And everyone in my family, because I raised them correctly, was like, that's it, Dad. That's where we are. And there he was, Chet. Like, take it easy, Chet. Like it was if I could put that guy in, you'll see why I can't. But if I could put him in, I'd put him in. He's the greatest.
There should be, he was Rocky the truck driver, played by Pepper Martin.
Take it easy, Rocky. I love that. Take it easy, Rocky.
Take it easy, Rocky. but he does not get the respect as a villain in the DC universe as much as he should get. I mean, he whipped Superman.
By the way, I was judging you completely because I thought you were going to name some villain that, of course, I know like every villain in it, and everyone's told me everything that I should do. You win, dude. That was an excellent, excellent pull, man. Full respect. Full respect.
I get that.
He keeps that one in the chamber all the time.
Oh, man. That
God.
and I think, this is what I think. I think you take that picture and you show it to someone. And if they know who it is, they're your friend. And if they don't, you leave them behind. That is all. That's the only litmus test I need, right? Like you saw my reaction. You put that 1 second, I'm like, oh my God, this is bad. Like that is, if you recognize it, we're going to be friends. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, that's, I'm not a huge fan of reboots because I think they're kind of cheap money grabs, but I don't mind. I think it's clever if done properly, the origins stuff. And it's reached a point kind of like in the superhero world where it's like, okay, I get it, this kind of thing. There's so many ways that you could use that mindset with other movies, like what happened to Molly Ringwald's character after Breakfast Club,
Right. The hard part is exactly what you said, is like, there's a fine line between enthusiasm and desperation, right? There's a fine line between high art and figuring out what really happened to like the cash grab of like, just put in the Breakfast Club font, let's call it a day, guys. Like it's so hard. And I hate to say it, but most of it is the cash grab. And every once in a while you get that one. Like I remember, even when they redid, remember that first season of Cobra Kai came out, and I was like, they can't redo Karate Kid. They're never going to do it justice. This is going to be a cash grab. But that first season, man, is killer. That's a killer first season. And we were all like, oh, these guys love this like we loved it. They grew up on it. And they brought, like, of all the projects they could do, they were like, this is what I want.
Did you ever see the alternate perspective where the Karate Kid is
of course, with Johnny. Yeah,
so
of
good.
course. I mean, that's
So
really, in a strange way, it's like, it's what their story is in that thing. And obviously it goes on for many seasons, but that first season is exactly what you said. Just the beautiful, different shift in perspective of like, here's Johnny's story.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. That's how I felt too. And Cobra Kai, the first, I think 2 seasons was on what was called YouTube Red at the time.
Yeah, I remember. I signed up for a subscription. I was like, because I was like, I want to see this thing that everyone's talking about.
So they filmed a lot, most, if not all, definitely those first like 2 or 3 seasons in Georgia when I was living there. So the scenes when they're, I think season 2, 3, maybe, when they're at the quote unquote beach club and they have a fight. Well, that was actually where I'd play tennis. It's in Marietta, Georgia. And a friend of mine was friends with one of the writers. I forget his name, creators. And so she was like, hey, come on out and I'll introduce him. And, I didn't think much of it. Right. I didn't think much of it. And I go out there and I'm watching them film, and there was a fight scene with some girl that used to be on Disney and some, like, I was like, where's Danielson? Where's everybody? Anyway, I went back, talked about it on the radio, so on and so forth. It wasn't until like the next season I started watching it, and then I'm seeing, the filming of it. I'm like, this is so clever.
Yeah, they did a great job. And then they brought Elizabeth Shue, and they did the whole thing. They got us. They nailed us. They at that point they were just like, boom. They had our number. They were just picking us off.
Old character.
Right. And they were just like, oh, I know who you're waiting for. You want to see the triangle with Elizabeth Shue? I'm like, that's all I want to see. Like, she single-handedly might have sent me into puberty, right? Like, it's just, yes, bring it on. Let's go.
And they even brought in the girl from the 3rd episode, which is a
but that's when you're like, where I'm like, I don't remember that one anymore. Like, I was in college at that point, right? Like, I was just like, it was.
Well, there was controversy with that the 3rd one because of the age difference between the two. Because
he's
is that when they had the bonsai tree shop? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. She's what's the family? Ryan Reynolds' wife.
Lively.
I know you're talking about.
She's a Lively. She's the mom. She's the mama Lively. Anyway, she was so much younger, and it just didn't make sense. So they actually changed the scripts, I guess, prior to, like, there can't be a love interest because that's really creepy. They made them friends. And think about it. They had a movie where there was for the first time out of the three, there was no love interest. They were just buddies.
Yeah, which in the 80s, that was not working with the audience.
Right, exactly. Anyway, I know that you are on a tight schedule and I have only a certain
Listen, I love you, man. I'm not getting over Rocky for the rest of the whole thing.
That was so cool.
I think I called him Chet when you first started too. I'm going to kick myself the rest of the day for that.
That's Pepper Martin. He actually started out in the business as a professional wrestler, like no name professional.
I believe it,
wrestler.
man. He's perfect.
Yeah.
The thing that's so great is, and I'll leave you with this because I know we got to run, but he's so good in that role. I know we love it because it's nostalgia porn for us, but he's really good. Those roles usually are like, oh, that's a bad guy, or he's not playing. He seems like a mean dude. It's great.
You knew it was coming. And it was perfect 80s, right? You walk into the bar and you can spot the bad guy, the drunk.
Oh, yeah, that was great. Right? That was perfect 80s.
All right, The Viper, bradmeltzer.com. Grab the book, read the book. I'm sure an audio version of the book coming soon.
It's out. You can go download it right now from Audible. Already out. You can, if you have someone who needs a birthday, whatever, the Viper is your choice, man. It's good.
And I'll hit you up when the Superman Spider-Man project comes out. And to support Brad, go get yourself a Viper tattoo like the one on my left shoulder right there. And celebrate with cake. All right. So everybody has it. All right, buddy.
Love you, brother.
All right.
Thanks so much.
See ya. Take care.
Take care.
Brad Meltzer, ladies and gentlemen. Right there.
Because of him, I'll be thinking of Elizabeth Shue the rest of the day.
He's the best. Like, if in my career, I can go through and name the best human beings that I've ever had a chance to meet, hang out with, talk to, develop a personal relationship, Brad Meltzer will be at the very top of that list. Nice. He is just a great person. Like I can reach out to him. I mean, this dude has got a really busy schedule, and the whole scheme of things as far as importance of where he's going to sell the most books. And this also shows you what kind of person is. Like, I'm low on that totem pole, really low. I mean, he's doing national stuff, big shows, big podcasts, big radio shows, big TV shows. And I reach out to him. I'll say, hey, Brad, I'd love to have you on to talk about, the new book and stuff. And we can, jib jab and do our thing. He's like, yeah, I'm copying, Eileen on this, who's the pub with his PR company. And like, yeah, make sure we get this done and set with Jason. Like, that's how great of a guy he is. Just makes me feel special.
I feel like he was actually coming to us from the top of the arch in St. Louis.
Yeah. That's why I go over and beyond and do the Viper tattoo and all that stuff, and put a lot of thought and effort into what I'm going to talk to Brad Meltzer about.
Don't make me show up next week with a tramp stamp of that thing. I'll do it.
Like, just to have him on outside of promoting something and talking about the superhero stuff, just to talk about his knowledge of the government and what he's done and the things that he knows that he can divulge and stuff is mind blowing. Because, go back, and if you're not familiar with the Brad Meltzer's Decoded on History Channel, it ran from 2010 to 2012. And then Brad Meltzer's Lost History. The Lost History is a little bit different. They were trying to find lost pieces of history, like the flag that the firefighters put up at 9/11 after the towers came down, and they ended up finding it, and the story behind it. Great show. Decoded was next level. Like, it was, he had a team, and he was kind of like at home base, and they were out in the field, and they were decoding mysteries of our history. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You're not familiar with him on TV?
Yeah. I've heard of it. Yeah.
I was addicted to that. Was must-see TV. Absolutely addicted. That's when we became friends. So it was back in 2010 when the show came out. I just would have him on any chance I could because he's so fascinating. But, he talks about like the witness protection program and stuff that he added in his new book, The Viper. He knows a lot. Like, he knows a lot. He's got a lot of very powerful people, friends.
We touched on something for a split second, but we didn't go any further because he was in the middle of a story. He was talking about Goodfellas, and I mentioned My Blue Heaven, talking about Witzak.
Mm-hmm.
Those movies are about the same dude. They're both Henry Hill.
Oh, I've never seen My Blue Heaven. So
you got to. Steve Martin is brilliant in that role.
Oh, the Steve Martin movie.
Yeah. You kind of melt all this stuff.
I've seen it, but I don't remember it. I can tell you that. I know exactly.
That is his version of Ray Liotta's character from Goodfellas.
Interesting.
It's the same guy, Henry Hill.
Isn't it weird when, and not that you had a personal relationship with Henry Hill, but when you watch these casino movies and you've got Italian friends and they're like, yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's, that's actually my uncle.
Yeah.
I've got one friend in particular who I won't say who, because people would know who it is, who's, true Italian. And some of those movies like Casino, he's like, yeah, that's after my uncle, just like that happened. He's like, maybe, I don't know.
The possibilities are endless.
The possibilities are endless. All right, look, let's wrap this up. Again, bradmeltzer.com for the Viper. Get that, and drop him a note, shoot him something on social media saying that, hey, look, I really dug your appearance on the BS podcast, if you don't mind. That's helpful to us. And it shows that, my audience does care about Brad. And especially if, you go back to the early days, again, 2010, if you'd been with me for that long, I remember having Brad on for all those years and time again. It's funny because I had a two-peer who, and don't take this the wrong way, ma'am, I didn't recognize your name, but I had got an email from a two-peer and she said, hey, I would love to hear Brad on your show again, which was crazy because I was in the midst of setting him up. I was like, how did you know that? Did you feel it?
It was in the ether.
It was in the ether. How did you know that? How did you feel it? Anyway, jasonbailey.com. Please subscribe so you can get all the episodes of the BS. We do this 3 times a week. Now, there's 3 different shows 5 times a week, but those are 2 other shows. Honey, I Raised the Kids releases on Mondays. The Vinyl Road podcast is on Fridays. They bookend Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the BS podcast that is this. This is what I call a freebie episode, but Tuesdays and Thursdays are for subscribers and subscribers only. So if that's you, and I hope it is you, we've got a large group of people that subscribe. It's only $4.99 a month. It obviously helps us stay in business, puts food on the table, all that stuff. Subscribe button, hit that at jasonbailey.com. The merch shop is up there all through January. They're having these different sales. So just keep checking, and also our social media, which you can get all the links off of jasonbailey.com. And I will post about it as I know about. And there's merch for all the shows. And it's not just shirts, t-shirts, it's hoodies and long sleeve shirts. It's shorts and hats and coffee mugs and cell phone cases and pillows and all kinds of dog shirts and all kinds of cool stuff. So anyway, all right, you got anything before we get out?
Yeah, for all of our men listening here, if you ever get bored and you need a giggle, call around to your local women's groups and ask to speak to the man in charge. I got to get a all right, look, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you. I really do. Be safe. Have yourself a great, safe rest of your day. And if you're going to be doing some drinking, I understand. I get it. But if you've had too much, please don't get behind the wheel of a car. I've lost way too many friends like that. Don't want to see that happen to you. And sure the shit don't be posting on social media, because you will lose a lot of friends like that. Just keep it inside. Keep it inside. Keep it locked up. Keep it locked up. All right. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Hey, good looking. It's the Bailey Show podcast. jasonbailey.com. It's a website.
Okay, this episode's over. Goodbye.
3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed, details, and to subscribe, jasonbailey.com.